Are you worried about inflation in 2020? Well, you absolutely should be. If you care about your money and your wealth and your family's future, you should be paying attention to inflation. And what's about to happen in this country is the value of a dollar continues to decline. Hey, everyone, I'm Clayton Morris. Thank you so much for subscribing to Morning Invest, the only morning business show for the 99%, not the 1%ers. This is real business news that you can use in your family to improve your overall finances. So I want to talk about inflation. First, let's talk about what it even means. Really, inflation is just the value of the US dollar. It's the value of currency and how it continues to go down year after year after year. The buying power of that particular currency continues to decline. So what you used to be able to spend and buy a Happy Meal at McDonald's for $2.99, that cost is now $4.99 or $7.99, and it continues to go up. But the dollar doesn't. So now you have to spend more for less. Every day that you have a dollar, every day that you have a euro, every day that you have any other type of currency, and inflation is your enemy, you are losing money every day. And this is important. If any of you have a savings account, if any of you have a mortgage, if any of you have cash on hand, the value of that cash is worth less tomorrow. Just think about it. Think about 10 years ago. And think about what your dollar could have bought you 10 years ago. Chances are you probably could have gone to the movies for cheaper 10 years ago. Chances are you probably could have bought that car for cheaper 10 years ago. Chances are you could have bought food cheaper 10 years ago. How many people in the chat right now remember how much it might have cost to buy eggs 10 years ago? Let me know compared to today. Now prices continue to go up for milk, for eggs, for bread, for meat. Those prices continue to go up. Does the value of the US dollar go up? Nope. It goes the opposite. It goes down. You should be focused on this, especially if you're trading time for money. If you check in at work, clock in and clock out, and you work an 8-hour day, you particularly need to pay attention to what's happening with inflation. Now, the Federal Reserve, of course, is going to be allowing inflation to run hot. It's going to be allowing inflation to go up. And Fed Chief, former Fed Chief Alan Greenspan, now this was back when I first started studying politics. Alan Greenspan was the Federal Reserve Chief. And at the time, he worked with Bill Clinton. This is the last time that we had a balanced budget in the United States. It's also the last time that we started running a surplus in the United States. It was under Bill Clinton and Alan Greenspan's leadership. When President Clinton was running for office and when he was then elected, he sat down with Alan Greenspan and said, what do I need to do to turn this economy around? What do I need to do? And Alan Greenspan said, you need to cut the deficit. We cannot keep borrowing this much money. We cannot afford it. It is unsustainable. And President Clinton said, okay. And so he basically co-opted some of what Republicans wanted to do, and Newt Gingrich, President Clinton, managed to get on the same page and actually get a balanced budget done and actually get this, for the first time, running a surplus in the United States. Imagine back when politicians could work together. We were running a surplus. We had more money coming in, and we were able to use it to pay down debt. It was amazing. Oh, those happy times of the 1990s. So Alan Greenspan spoke out yesterday for the very first time on his biggest concerns right now in the economy. And what do you think was at the top of the list? Inflation. Listen to Alan Greenspan. He's getting up there in age, but he's still smart as a whip.
But my overall view is that the inflation outlook is unfortunately negative and essentially the result of basically the huge increase in entitlements that are crowding out private investment and productivity growth, which incidentally, not unimportantly, is slowing down.
Yeah, slowing down. So our productivity right now and our output, and people aren't buying as much. So we're spending money like crazy at the federal government level. We're printing money like crazy. And we have banks right now that are lending money out like crazy, and they're lending money on money they don't have. So let me explain that part of it a little bit more. So his concern is about inflation for a good reason. The value of a dollar is worth less today than it was 10 years ago, and it happens every day. And if you have a dollar today, it's going to be worth less tomorrow. That's just the way it is. So the dollar, as the federal government, as they're not even really printing money, but they're not even like printing paper currency right now. The federal government is basically creating digital currency, and they're just artificially making as much money as they can. The central bank is basically saying, we're just going to keep creating money. Let me put it to you this way. If you suddenly won the lottery, okay, you would be, oh my God, you'd be sitting on High Street, right? Because no one else in your community won the lottery. But what if everyone in your community wins the lottery? And then guess what? That value of that currency is now completely depleted. That's why the Nazis were printing US dollars during World War II, that they wanted to drop in the air over the United States. That would totally destroy our economy. If suddenly every American had dollars, had unlimited amounts of cash, then that cash means nothing. It's valueless. And that's what we're doing right now. US dollar is becoming worthless. Remember, a US dollar, a coin, is just a representation of value. It's not backed by anything. It's a representation of value. And if our economy is not producing any value, like what you just heard Alan Greenspan said, is our production is slowing down, jobs are lost, and more millions of Americans are being tied to entitlements and tied to government money right now because our economy is slowing down, inflation rises. And when inflation rises, rich people get rich, and those that are working for cash lose money. You see, what rich people are going to do right now is they're going to pull back, which they are. They're putting their money in safe assets that they deem are safe, like gold and silver. Put my money in real estate. That's my main focus, because real estate is a hedge against inflation. Real estate goes up more than inflation does. And the cash flow that is produced from real estate every month creates wealth in your family. It's consistent cash flow. It's consistently paying for your bills. And you get the tax benefits of owning real estate. But if you have your money in cash, in government currency, then you're in trouble. The government is printing money, or should I say creating ones and zeros on spreadsheets and sending it out to all of these big businesses and creating all of this stimulus money right now. They're buying up corporate junk, and they're just stimulating that sector of the economy. What is also happening is what's happening at the banks is fractional banking. So it's education day here on the show. So do you guys know what fractional banking is? Do you know? Let me know in the comments if you know what it is. I'll give you the third grade version of it. Okay, if I was going to explain it to my kids, because it's complicated and I don't even fully understand how it operates. But I'll give you the 101 version of it. Fractional banking basically means when you put your money into a bank, that bank is allowed to lend that money out, right? But that bank doesn't have to do it one-to-one. If you put $100 in the bank, they don't have to take that $100 and lend it out. No, they can break it up. It's called fractions, right? They can fractionalize it. And they can take that $100 and they can basically lend it out more than what you put in. That's the law. And now under COVID, yes, under the CARES Act, now they used to have 10% of your money still in the bank. You put $100 in as John Smith, then Wells Fargo could lend out 90% of that repeatedly to multiple people in the form of mortgages and other things. Now what they're able to do is lend out 100%. Isn't that amazing? So you can put $100 in the bank and they can lend it out fully to other people. So technically your money is not even in the bank anymore. It's not there. They've lent it out. And the worst part is that they're able to lend it out multiple times. So they're able to take your $100 and lend it out as $1,000. Does that make any sense to you? Is that not mind-blowing? And yet that's how our financial industry operates. That's how they work. Fractional banking, which creates inflation. The value of that dollar is not really worth the value of that dollar. It's worth way less, because now they've taken it and multiplied it times 1,000. You can't do that with gold. You can't do that with silver. You can't do that with real estate. You can do that with artificial fake government money, though, and you need to pay attention to this. There are a number of things that cause inflation. I just touched on a few of them. The reason, folks, that this is a big deal is because inflation really only affects the little guy that trades time for money. If you trade 8 hours a day of your life to work for somebody else, and you receive a paycheck that you're using as cash to buy goods and services, you are losing in this scenario. So what is my point of doing this segment today? My point is to help empower you to take action and create wealth in your life in a better way. I want you to take responsibility for your own financial situation right now and where your family could be in the future. If you have the wherewithal right now to start a business, okay, to not work for somebody else if you can, to put some money aside and to start an LLC, to start a website, to start a business from home that creates cash flow every month, that you can then begin to invest in things like real estate. Take that cash from that 9-to-5 job, if you can, to start moving some of it into assets that will sustain your family. Look, every one of you watching right now has the power and the ability to do this. You know, when I started out, I was $75,000 in debt. I had a 512 credit score. I was working for somebody else, and I said, enough is enough. And now I've built multiple multi-million-dollar companies from scratch. In fact, one of them I built during this coronavirus lockdown as a side project, a website that's now generating income. And all of you can do that. In fact, I have a whole website devoted to helping people build wealth. It's called justbuildwealth.com. That's the name of the website, justbuildwealth.com. Go and check it out. I've got whole blog posts on there how you can start to build passive income, how you can start taking action in your family and to build a blog. Step by step, I teach you how to do that and how to monetize it, put advertising on your site. You can do that with a laptop or an iPad. But my point is inflation. That when you start to become a business owner or an entrepreneur, then inflation affects you differently. Because now you can leverage different things and be smarter with your money. And I don't want to be doing this show 5 years from now talking to the same people who 5 years earlier heard me say this and didn't take action. So my goal as an educator on this channel is not just to do the news, but to contextualize the news so that it means something to you to take action. Like, I want you to be hearing this today and at dinner tonight talking to your spouse or partner or, maybe you're a student or whatever, and you say, you know what? I need to learn more about this. I need to learn more about real estate. I need to learn more about how the banking system works. Because if you don't, we're doomed to repeat it. Do you think President Trump, do you think the federal government is going to save you? Look how crappy they've done during the coronavirus pandemic. We need to empower ourselves to build a better country right now. We absolutely do, to take action on this. And look, we can build businesses and still also demand that our government provide universal health care for everybody. We can build more sustainable farming in this country, that we're not relying on China and Mexico to ship us berries and food, where we can build and develop this stuff here in the United States. We can do that with entrepreneurs starting businesses, creating cash flow, investing in real estate and land and precious metals and even crypto, for crying out loud. Being smarter with our money is the entire purpose of this channel. And these are the things that Wall Street is never going to teach you. These are the things you're not going to learn if you tune into like CNBC or Fox Business or any of those other channels. They're run by corporations. They're run by Wall Street corporations that want to keep you down. They don't want to empower you. You're never going to turn on one of those shows and there's going to be a whole show telling you how to start a business. It's not going to happen. Telling you how to take, you as the little guy, to start investing in real estate, to get out of this corrupt banking system. No, what they want you to do is to continue doing it. They make more money when you do, and they want you to continue to invest in your 401k because they make more money when you do. They want you to work for somebody else and make the other company productive. Now, my mission is to help empower you with your finances. So check out that website. Just go to justbuildwealth.com if you want to check it out. We also rolled out a brand new 90-day boot camp. My wife and I, Natalie and I, built this, and it's our 90-day financial empowerment boot camp. It's totally free, totally free. So just go to morninginvest.com/bootcamp and you can download it for free. Okay, it's totally free, and it'll take you week by week by week how to get your finances in order and how to understand how to start buying performing assets versus liabilities. I want this morning business show not just to be about the news. I want it to be an education center so we can all grow, okay? That's my mission with this channel. So thank you so much for subscribing, smashing that like button, and becoming a member of this channel. I really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much.